Make sure you have water available to you. You can always hydrate at any point. If you have a belt nearby, it doesn't have to be a yoga belt, but it could be a belt that you use with your jeans, or a sash from a bathrobe, or maybe a necktie would work, or a towel. So we'll be using that also. If you don't have that prop, not to worry. We can simply lift our legs, and I'll give you the actions that you should feel. We'll be warming up first, doing some preparation poses in order to find our triangle pose today. Triangle pose is a pose that can be complex, but is reachable for everyone. It increases flexibility and strength in your legs, strengthen your ankles and knees and hips. It stretches the hips, the hamstrings, and the calf muscles. It starts to open your chest, rolling the shoulders back. It extends the spine. And a good thing is that it improves digestion. It can relieve lower back pain and a stiff neck. So we're going to prep with all those things in mind. Let's begin now. Rules. There's no rules, except don't force yourself into a pose. And if you get tired, please sit down and rest. Take a break, drink some water. And if something is hurting you, please discontinue and wait for the next action or yoga pose to happen. So if you're using a chair, please sit away from the backrest towards the front edge of the chair with your feet on the floor, toes pointed straight ahead, and feet about hip distance apart. If you're using a mat, you can fold your blanket in half and sit on the folded edge of your blanket. You can start by extending your legs long and then bending the right knee out to the side, bringing it under the left thigh, and take your left hand to the inner left knee and bring that left knee out to the side. You'll cross your legs at the middle of the shin of the right leg. And sometimes that left calf muscle gets in the way, so you can roll it away. Then with your legs in this position, check where your sit bones are at that fold of your blanket, and make sure you're sitting right on the middle of the sit bones. Lift through the crown of your head, even if you're sitting on the chair. Take your hands, if you're sitting on the chair, and place your hands on the right and left edge of the chair seat, and start to lift yourself up. When you lift yourself up, you'll feel an opening of the chest. Roll each shoulder back and continue to find length from the top of the hip bone through the side ribs to the armpit chest. Now lift your arms straight up towards the ceiling. Arms are usually parallel with palms facing each other. If this is not available to you, have your arms at that V shape. Always go where you can manage. So now as you press down into your sit bones, lift from the side ribs to the armpit chest and keep your arms extended. Drop the shoulder blades down and let those arms fan out to the side and lower down. Take your right hand and slide it out to the right side. So if you're holding on to your chair seat, you'd hold on with the right hand. If you're on the mat, slide your right arm up and then out, and then bring your left arm over your left side of your head, your ear, and feel some stretching there on the left side ribs. And then draw that arm back up. Let the left hand slide out on your mat, or if you're sitting in a chair, hold on to your chair seat on the left side. Bring that right arm up and over your head, over the right ear, and press down into that right sit bone and feel the stretch of the muscles on the side of the rib cage. Those are oblique muscles and intercostals between the rib bones. Then bring that arm right back up and down to your right side. We're going to take a small twist now, make it gentle. So if you're sitting on your sit bones on that blanket, I'd like you to bring your right hand behind you, hold on to the mat or the blanket, and bring your left hand across to the outer right knee. If you're sitting in a chair, you're still holding on to the right side of your chair seat, and you'll bring that left arm across the chest to the outer right knee. Now sit tall wherever you are, and then take an inhale, exhale, and twist to the right. Remember, this is a gentle twist. We're not forcing, but we might feel some of the left side coming to the right side. Gently release, inhaling and exhaling, coming back to the center. If you're in a chair, take your left hand to the left side of the chair seat. If you're on a mat, bring your left arm behind you, hold the edge of the mat or the blanket, and bring the right arm across the front of the chest to the outer left knee. Grow tall now, wherever you are, sitting in a chair or on a mat, and take an inhale, exhale, and begin to twist to the left. Now stay here a few moments and see if you can feel the right side of the body coming towards the left. Twisting the torso. So we've twisted the left side of the spine and now the right side of the spine. Take an inhale, exhale, release, unwind, and come back to center. Now, if you have a mat, we're going to lay down. If you're sitting in a chair, I'll give you special instructions for what to do in the chair. So first, if you have a mat and a blanket, push your blanket away, and I'd like you to bend your knees and lower down on your mat. If you're sitting on a chair, I'd like you to stay away from the backrest of your chair and reset yourself so you're sitting towards the front edge of your mat, chair, with your feet still on the floor. So, once everyone is situated, bring the right knee in towards your chest and interlace fingers around the shin and draw that knee in. We're still warming up the body. We did the upper torso, we're going to the lower torso. And then release your hands and put that right foot down. Bring the left knee into your chest, interlace fingers, and place them on the shin. Draw that left knee in if you're laying down, or up if you're sitting in a chair. And keep that left knee, if you're laying on a mat, keep your left knee towards your chest, release your right hand, and bring that right knee into the chest. Right hand on the shin. Bring both knees to your chest. If you're sitting in a chair, continue alternating, lifting the right knee up, putting it down, and then the left knee up. If you're in a chair, rest when you feel you've done enough of those. But if you're laying on your mat, release your hands and bring your hands on the inside of your knees and grab the outer edges of your feet, lifting the heels up. Draw the knees towards your armpit chest. A nice hip opener called Happy Baby. Then release your hands and bring your hands to the outside of your knees and push your knees together and lower your feet down. Now, if you're in a chair, I'd like you to bring the inner edges of your feet close together. And then let the knees fall out to right and left. If you're on a mat, please do the same thing. Inner edges of your feet together, and let the knees fall out towards the opposite sides of the room. If you're on a mat, let the heels and the balls of your feet press into each other. If you're on a chair, you remain with your knees out to the side. We're looking for some stretch on the inner thigh muscle. You can take your hands and stroke up that inner thigh and apply a little pressure to press the knees apart. We'll be using these inner thigh muscles, the outer buttocks, in our triangle pose. So we're warming all those parts up. Good. Now take your hands to the outer edges of your thighs and bring those knees together. Do the same thing if you're sitting in a chair. While we're laying down, I'd like you to take your belt, if you have one, or some kind of prop, like a necktie or a towel, that you can use as a belt. But never fear, you don't have to hold on to a belt to do this. We're going to stretch the hamstrings now. So please watch first. Separate your feet so they're about hip distance apart, whether you're sitting on a chair or laying on a mat. Just watch, remember. Bring the right knee into your chest like we did before. You'll be taking your belt or some device to the ball of your foot, even off the sides of the belt. I'll give you all these cues again. And you'll stretch the right heel up towards the ceiling. You'll reach up and hold on to the belt and flex into the heel. Now, if a belt is not available to you, you can use your hands to hold on to your leg. If you're sitting in a chair, you can lift your leg to hip level and press into the heel. I'm going back into that belt, and the next part of the demonstration is letting the leg come out to the side. We'll be using that inner thigh muscle again. And then we'll stretch that left leg straight out. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, let's get ready. So first, your knees are bent if you're laying on a mat. You bring the right knee in, give it a good hug to your chest, and take your belt, your necktie, or just your hands to the foot or your leg, your lower leg. Press into the heel and have the toes coming towards you. As you feel the calf muscle stretch, that goes right into the hamstring. If you're sitting on a chair, your leg is lifted and extended from the hip. Now, take the left side of your belt into your right hand. If you're laying on the mat, extend that left leg down the mat and take your left hand and place it on the right hip bone in the front. Allow the right leg to come out to the side. Your right elbow will bend and touch the mat as you extend the leg out to the right side. If you're sitting in a chair, just let your leg come out to the right side at hip level. Press into the heel to continue feeling the calf muscle stretch. Grip your knee, contract the thigh, and press the front thigh to the back thigh. Now, if you're laying on your mat, don't let your left leg get lazy. Continue pressing into that left heel. Bring your leg back up, bend the knee, and release the belt or your hands from your leg. So if you're laying on the mat and you were only using your hand, you can hold on to your pants to allow that leg to come out to the side. Let's go to the left side now. Bring the left knee into your chest, give it a hug, and get your belt or whatever prop you're using, or your hands to the lower left leg. Press into the heel so you start feeling calf muscle stretch. Grip the knee and contract the thigh so the thigh presses towards the hamstring. Let the right heel slide down the mat. Press into that right heel, grip your right knee, contract the thigh. So if you're sitting in a chair, your leg is extended from the hip and is parallel to the floor. If you're laying on the mat, you can take your right hand to that right front hip bone and now allow that left leg to come out to the side. So I'm holding my pant leg and I'm pressing into the left heel, gripping the left knee, contracting the left thigh, and feeling stretch in that inner left thigh. For a moment, I felt the right sit bone lifting off the mat. So I'm going to press into that right outer hip bone to keep an even pelvis. Allow that left leg to come up, bend the knee, and lower that foot down. Bend the right knee and bring that right knee down. So now, roll over to your right side and lift yourself up if you're on the mat. If you're on a chair, the next one is rounding and arching your back. So if you're sitting, you would have your feet on the floor, hands on your thighs, and you'll be lifting up the chest and then rounding the back. If you're on a mat, you'll come to all fours. Shoulder, elbow, and wrist lined up over one another, and your knees and hips in alignment. So then, you look down at your mat, keeping the neck soft and comfortable. We're going to arch the spine first because that's the action you'll find in triangle pose. So take an inhale, and on the exhale, draw the chin forward and up. Let the sit bones press up if you're on all fours, and arch the upper back. So this is the back that you want in triangle. Now let's release that, and if you're on all fours, bring your chin to your chest and round the upper back. Try it one more time, bringing the chin forward and lifting up, arching the upper back. Pressing sit bones up, letting your tummy drop. If you're in a chair, you're simply holding on your chair seat or pressing on your thighs and arching your back, looking up towards the ceiling. And then last time, bring your chin in close to your chest and feel the roundness you're creating in your back. Perfect. So those were pelvic tilts. Now we're going to come into a downward facing dog. If you're on a mat, last week we talked about the different variations of down dog. So please watch, and I'll also address what you do on a chair. First, on a mat, you'll curl your toes behind you and lift the hips towards your heels and then lift the hips straight up. Stay on the balls of your feet. So this demonstration illustrates how long your spine can be. So, you can also have bent knees here too. I was sliding into variation 2 right away. So this is variation 1, taking the hamstrings out of the equation. Variation 2 puts the hamstrings back in the variation, and you start to straighten your knees and feel the lift of the sit bones to the ceiling with a long spine. The last variation is coming into the full pose, where you start to lower the heels towards the mat. And I mean that. You don't have to touch your heels to the mat. but you do need to keep that long spine. So that's the demonstration for the mat. For the chair, you would stand up to face your chair seat. You would bend at the hip crease, leaning forward, and placing your hands on the chair seat. This would be your downward facing dog. So let's everybody come to their prop, mat or chair, and come to their favorite variation of downward facing dog. I will be coming into the full pose, starting with variation 1 and going to variation 3, the full pose. Curling the toes, keeping the knees bent, staying on the balls of the feet, and taking the hamstring out of the equation. Variation 2 is straightening the knees, feeling the length of the spine, sit bones up to the ceiling. The full pose is letting the heels drop down towards the mat. And for people on the chair, your hands are on the chair seat, and you're leaning towards the floor with the hips up towards the ceiling. Only go where you can manage. And then, if you're on your mat, walk your feet towards your hands. If you're using a chair, walk your feet in and keep your hands with bent elbows on your chair seat. So this is a forward bend. If you do not have your hands on the mat, you can simply cross your arms and hold on to opposite elbows. If you're using a chair, you can walk yourself a little bit away from the chair so you don't bump into it, and have these crossed arms with holding elbows, or you can have your hands on your shins looking like this. And then wherever you have come to a forward bend, take your hands to your buttocks and smooth the buttocks down and lift yourself up. We're going to come to Tadasana, and we're going to start working with our legs to find our triangle pose today. So everyone should be standing up now, and to come into Tadasana, classically you would have the big toes touching the insteps and the inner heels. If this is not stable for you, please have your feet about hip distance apart. I'm using the classic where the inner edges of my feet are touching. Press down into all four corners of your feet. Big toe mound, little toe mound, inner and outer heel. As you press down in your feet, start to lift up, extending the spine through the crown of your head. Pull tummy muscles in towards the spine. Let the shoulders roll back, and keep extending the spine through the crown of the head. Your arms can be at your side with fingertips pointing down towards the floor. Or you can do an external rotation of the upper arm muscle and turn the palms forward. Press down into your feet and lift through the crown of your head. All standing poses derive from this Tadasana pose. Perfect. Then release and shake those legs out. If you're using a chair, please come behind the chair and hold on to the backrest. If you're using a mat, you will turn towards the right. We're going to do crescent pose, which is a high lunge pose. So please watch the demonstration. I'm going to step forward with my right foot and have the left foot behind me. Now this gives you a sense of Warrior One, but we're not coming to Warrior One, at least not yet. So the legs are separated. In the back leg, you can press into the outer left heel, gripping the knee, contracting the thigh. In the front leg, you'll be pressing into the big toe mound and bending into that knee. Then you'll lift that left heel up, and I'm wiggling my foot back a little bit, I need some more space, and keep that left leg, our stabilizing leg, as well on the ball of the foot, as well as stabilizing in the front leg. Gripping that left knee, pressing that front left thigh to the hamstring and doing an external rotation. And then lifting your arms up in high lunge pose. And then lowering down and bringing that left foot in. So if you're using a chair, you don't have to do the arm part. You can simply hold on to the chair. If you're on a mat and you want to use a chair, that's always an option. So let's try the right leg forward and the left leg back. First you separate your feet and you press into that outer left heel. You grip that left knee and contract that left thigh, so the left thigh comes to the hamstring. And give your back thigh a rotation. So the hand comes to the inner thigh and rolls to the outer thigh. You're pressing into the big toe mound of the right foot and you're bending into that knee. Then you're going to transition to lifting that left heel up and being on the ball of the left foot. So this gives us a little bit of instability, but in triangle pose, your legs will be separated like this, and this is giving you a flavor of the balance that you have to maintain. So if you're holding on the chair, go ahead. If your arms need to come up, you can do that also. Once the arms come up, find that arch in the upper back. We'll be using that in triangle pose. Then lower your arms down, bring that right foot forward. Bring the left foot forward and the right leg back. Press into that outer right heel, grip the knee, contract that front right thigh, and press it back to the hamstring. Take your hand from the inner right thigh and roll it out. That's the position that you want your muscle in. In the left leg, you're going to press into that big toe mound and bend the knee. So let's not neglect what's happening in this front leg. You're going to stretch from the groin to the inner thigh to the inner knee, and then from the outer left knee along the outer thigh to the hip muscle. Now, transition to lifting that right heel up, maybe wiggling the ball of the foot back, gripping that right knee, sending that thigh back to the hamstring, and hold on to your chair or lift your arms up. High lunge pose or cold crescent. Lower your arms and bring that right foot back in. We're going to come to Parsvottanasana. This is pyramid pose. Once again, we're going to get our legs in the position of triangle. So that means far apart. In Parsvottanasana, we're going to take a step from the crescent pose to lowering down that heel. So it's almost the same thing, but a little different. So bring the right foot forward, bring the left foot back. If you're using a chair, you can do this facing the backrest of your chair. So now I have my left heel down on the floor, pressing into the mat, gripping that left knee, contracting the left thigh to the hamstring, doing that roll of the back muscle. Then in the front leg, you're pressing into that right ball of the foot, doing the same thing, bending, gripping the knee and contracting the thigh. This thigh muscle is pressing to the hamstring. In crescent, we bent the front knee. In crescent, we lifted the left heel. We're not doing any of that now. We're going to keep straight legs. Take your hands on your hips and start to lean forward. Now, if you're using a chair, keep your hands on the chair and lean forward. Now, to find that arch in your back, stretch through the sternum and look up. And there's the arching you need for triangle pose. Then lift yourself back up and we'll change sides. Bring the left foot forward and the right foot back. Toes on the right foot are still angled a little bit, but straighter than you would use in Warrior One or Warrior Two. So once again, let's prep our legs. We're pressing into the outer right heel. We're gripping that right knee, contracting the right thigh, pressing that right thigh to the hamstring. Maintain that muscular contraction in your back leg. Left leg, you're pressing into the big toe mound. We're keeping that left knee straight, gripping it, contracting the front left thigh to the back left thigh. Take your hands on your hips, and perhaps this is as far as you get, and it's fine. You could hold on to a chair as you hinge forward as well. You don't have to go any lower. Extend through the sternum, look forward, and find your shoulders coming back to find that arch in your upper back. Then pressing into both feet, lift yourself up and bring that right foot forward. Okay, so we have time for one more before we get to our triangle pose. If you have a chair, stay behind your chair and hold on. If you have a mat, separate your feet wide. Now, once your feet are separated wide, check that the outer edges of your feet are parallel to the sides of your mat. Toes will be facing forward. Now, you want to be pretty wide here. And then put your hands on your hips. Roll your shoulders back and find that arching in your upper back. Now, as you roll on the outer edges of the heels of both feet, I'd like you to grip your knees, contract both thighs, and press the front thighs to the back thighs. This is a stretch of the inner thigh towards the inner heel. And this is the stretch that you need for your legs, the lower torso, in triangle pose. Now, heel toe those feet back in. And now we're coming to triangle pose. If you feel unstable as we start coming into triangle pose, if there's a wall nearby, you can have your back against the wall. If you have a chair, I'm going to ask you to come in front of your chair and I'll demonstrate what you'll be doing for triangle pose. If you have a mat, we're going to step our feet wide with the right foot in, we'll be turning towards the right foot. So first, the demonstration for the chair. So your chair seat would be right in front of you, And you would step forward with the right foot and back with the left. And your torso, let me change the feet so you can see better. And your feet, you're going to have the front heel lining up with the back instep. And we'll fix the torso, we'll extend the hand, and you'll bring your hand down to the chair seat as you lift the other arm up. That will be your triangle pose. If you're on a mat, then you'll have this wide stance again. And you'll pivot on your heels, bringing the right toes forward, lining up the heel to the instep. And then we'll fix the torso, we'll extend the arms and come down. If you have a block, you could have your block there. You could have your hand on your shin. And we'll work the chest also. We get that little arch in it. Okay, now for the real McCoy. So, Iyengar Tadasana jump. Take an inhale. Exhale, bend your knees. Jump apart. Extend your arms. Lower your arms down. Pivot on your right heel. Let the right toes extend forward. Pivot on your left heel so the toes come in. Line up the right heel with the left instep. You're pressing into that outer heel of the left leg. You're gripping the knee, contracting the thigh back to the hamstring. In the front leg, you're pressing into that big toe mound and maybe feeling some sensation up the inner thigh. Your legs are set. Fix the torso by bringing it forward. Have shoulders over hips. And then extend your arms. Reach from the shoulder through the upper arm to the forearm to your fingertips. And then extend through the right arm, keeping the sides of your body nice and long. Legs do not bend. Bring your hand to your shin, to your thigh, but never the knee. Bend your left elbow and bring your hand to your hip and roll that left shoulder back. Now feel how that left shoulder rolls up and back. It's the left side of your torso. Then if you choose, if you can keep that left shoulder back, you can lift your left arm and have shoulder stacking over shoulder. Look straight ahead, have a comfortable neck, and then use your left hand to pull yourself back up. Lower your arms, pivot on your heels again, and this time the left heel is lining up with the right instep. You're pressing into the outer right heel as you're pressing into that big toe mound on the left foot. Legs are straight. You're gripping knees, you're contracting thighs, and you're fixing your torso so it's looking straight ahead. Then extend the arms. Remember to reach from the shoulder, the upper arm to the forearm and the fingertips. And keeping your feet stable, move the upper torso towards the left. Keep reaching, keeping length from the armpit chest to your hips, and then lower that hand down to your shin or your thigh, never the knee. Bend your right elbow and bring your hand to your hip. Roll the right shoulder back and feel how the right side of your chest is opening up, arching the upper back. Extend your arm up if you choose to, you don't have to. Keep your eyes looking at your camera, extending the neck. And then lift up through those right fingertips, lifting all the way up, lowering down, and pivoting on your heel. We're going to heel toe those feet in now. And we're going to come to a forward bend. Forward bends are cooling for us. So start with your feet about hip distance apart. I'll go sideways. And reach up to the ceiling to find that Urdhva Hastasana. Hinge at the hip crease and start to lower down. If you're using a chair, you can lower your hands down to the chair seat. If you're using a mat, you might be able to touch the mat or have blocks or have your hands on your elbows and lower down. If you're finding the hamstrings are interfering with you coming down, please soften the knees. Don't be hard on your hamstrings. Always take care of them. Then release your hands. Bring your hands to your buttocks and smooth the buttocks down and lift up. We're going to come to sitting in a chair or sitting on your mat for rest. We'll come into a little twist first. We end our class at 10:20, so we have about 5 minutes for our twist, and then we'll come to rest. So if you're using a chair, please sit in your chair. If you're using a mat, we're going to sit on the mat with our legs extended. If you're sitting on a chair, you will not do anything with your legs. You'll just follow what the upper torso does. If you have a blanket, you can sit on that blanket. It lifts your pelvis up a little bit, so it gives you better access to your legs. So first, I'm going to take my hands under my right knee, bring that knee up close to my chest. Then take the left arm over the right knee, swing the little, I think it's my right hand, behind me, and twist the upper torso. So if you're sitting on a chair, your left hand would come to your outer right knee, and you would twist towards the right. Maybe. I think it might be the left. Let's see. Right arm. Arm to left. You'd be going to the left. Just get the twist in. It's fine. Then take an inhale, exhale, and release. So I'll do the left side now. Coming around. Start with legs long, hands under that left leg, bring that knee up, and swing that left hand behind you, bring the right arm up and over to that outer left knee, and twist. Then release, extend your legs, and it's time for a short Shavasana. So if you're sitting in a chair, you can sit all the way back in your chair, touching the backrest, making sure your feet are on the floor. If your feet come off the floor, please scoot away from the backrest. If you're on your mat, you can use a blanket or a pillow under your head and extend your legs. Let your arms come alongside your body with palms up. Let your feet roll open to opposite sides of the room and begin to close your eyes. Begin to find your breath. Don't force the breath. Don't make it long and deep. Just shallow and short. Regular breathing, quieting the mind, quieting your body. While you're resting, I have a short thought for you to reflect on today. I'm reading from my book called In Love with the Mystery by Anne Mortby. She is a woman who walked away from a high-stress life to come to mindfulness and meditation. Here is one of her entries. Today is the day. Today is the day to begin anew, the great adventure. Today is the day to resolve, to awaken in every moment. Today is the day to commit, to determine, to live, to love. This is the day in which to serve our highest dream. If we wait for circumstances to align in the way we desire, we may wait forever. Tomorrow is an illusion. Today is the day to breathe in the mysterious possibility that life now offers. Regardless of what surrounds us, this is the day to begin. Please bend your left knee, roll over to your right side, lift yourself up, keeping your head low, and then come to a seated position of your choice. Namaste, hands at your heart. Let the intelligence of your brain bow to the wisdom you find in your loving heart. And to close our class, may you have a wonderful day to be mindful and do yoga. Namaste, my friends. Thank you so much for sharing your time to do class with me today. Have a great day.